नमस्ते कुमार।
नमस्ते। नमस्ते।
शोभू।
हाँ, नमस्ते।
नमस्ते।
नमस्ते शोभू।
नमस्ते माम।
The host is not in the meeting yet. No, நீ உட்கார்ந்துட்டு இருக்க, ஏன் அப்படி வருது?
ஓம் கேக்குறதா?
கேட்டுதே?
கேட்டு.
இப்ப கேட்கல. இப்ப கேட்கல.
இப்ப கேக்கலையா?
இப்ப கேட்கல.
Still playing?
கொஞ்சம் ஒரு மாதிரி ஃபீபிளா கேக்குது. பிரேக் ஆகி வருது.
இப்போ நன்னா கேக்குது.
Namaste. Namaste everyone.
Namaste.
Namaste. We'll start with
Namaste.
3 ohms as usual. Let's take a deep breath. Namaste, Suprabhatam, Namo Namaha, depending on where you are. Is Kranti here?
Yeah, I'm there.
Yeah, go ahead, Kranti.
Yeah. 2.49, right?
Yes.
Oh. योगेन चित्तस्य पदेन वाचां मलं शरीरस्य च वैद्यकेन योपाकरोत्तं प्रवरं मुनीनां पतञ्जलिं प्राञ्जलिरानतोऽस्मि आबाहुपुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसंकेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिम् श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। अथ साधनपादः तस्मिन् सति श्वासप्रश्वासयोः गतिविच्छेदः प्राणायामः बाह्य आभ्यन्तर स्तम्भवृत्तिः देश काल संख्याभिः परिदृष्टो दीर्घसूक्ष्मः बाह्य आभ्यन्तर विषयाक्षेपि चतुर्थः ततः क्षीयते प्रकाशावरणम् धारणासु च योग्यता मनसः स्वविषय असंप्रयोगे चित्तस्य स्वरूपानुकार इव इन्द्रिय स्वरूपानुकार इव इन्द्रियाणां प्रत्याहारः ततः परमावश्यता इन्द्रियाणाम्.
Thank you, Kranti. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, instead of going back all the way from the beginning, I'm going to just review what we did last week. We had covered Yama, Niyama, and the Asana the previous week. So, did we cover Asana last week or previous week? I'm not sure. Anyway. Last week we took on pranayama. So what we saw in the pranayama was that once we gain that engrossment, that the state of samapati, what he says in Sutra 248, I think. Let us see. 248, 247, yes. Prayatana Shaitalya Ananta Samapatibhyam. So we saw that. That is, with little Prayatana Shaitalya, weak or small, with small, Prayatana means effort. With small effort, Ananta Samapatibhyam. Endless. Ananta means endless. Samapatibhyam means Samapatihi, we have seen in chapter 1 in Samadhipada. Samapati means that engrossment, total engrossment in whatever we do. So So he's saying that when you do that asana, your state must be of a your state must be that of samapati. You must be in samapati. So it is samapati bhyam, that total engrossment. Once you attain that total engrossment, so that's when all this tato dvandva anabhigatah, that is the opposites, that is pain, suffering, and your dryness, or feeling hot and cold, whether you feel dryness in the throat or you feel too much of wetness in the throat. Dvanda, my sister pointed, dvanda means pair of opposites. Anabitaha means opposites. Dvanda anabitaha means pairs of opposites. So we saw all that. The main thing we have taken from the asanas is sthira sukham asanam. It has to be stable and it must give you complete pleasure in when you do it. That is what he's calling asanam. And then he goes on to define this samapatibhyam. You must be totally engrossed. See, yoga, the word yoga means engrossment, being in connection with your body, your mind, your spirit, everything, and ultimate connectivity to the divine. So engrossment is the key here. When otherwise it is not yoga. So when people do asana and they are only focused on, they are either listening to some music or they are speaking to people, or their mind is not in what they are doing, they are not focusing on the posture as such, that's not asana at all. That's what he's trying to tell you here. So all these different types of asanas that has come, power asana, this asana. I'm using the word asana. I'm not using the word yoga. Please understand this very clearly. We have so many places where they say yoga studios. They never teach you yoga. There are a few which do that, but not all. So you have to be very selective, very careful when you pick a studio. So we saw that. So he's saying here in Sutra 49, Tasmin Sati, that is when we have that ease with asana, when we have attained that perfection, when we are engrossed. Perfection here means the engrossment perfection, not the posture perfection. You understand, Priya? You don't have to, if turning the neck means it doesn't have to turn 90 degrees. That is not, we are not talking that perfection. When you turn, you are totally engrossed. That is a perfection we are talking about. So when we are in that, so he is defining pranayama as when you have engrossment in the asana and you are sitting in that asana, in that posture, fully engrossed. Shwasa prashwasayoho gati vicheda pranayama. So inhalation, shwasa, prashwasa, the exhalation, gati is the speed, which shade is discretely separated. The inhalation and exhalation is separation. There is a separation, discretely separated, is called pranayama. And then he says, bahya abhyantara stambhavriti desha kala sankhya bihi paridrishto dirgaha. So paridrishto means according to the surroundings where you are. That is a dirga is a long form. So the length to which you are going to hold, the length which we are going to inhale, the length for which you are going to exhale, all this, as well as bahya, that is outside, abhyantara is inside, stamba, not moving, vritti. So all these activations, they all have come to a stop. So pranayama, we are calling pranayama here is the pause between exhalation and inhalation is motionless, meaning the activations have come to a stop. So it has become motionless. Motionless breath. The body is not moving. There is no, the activations are not moving. It is only the breath that is going on. And it is long and subtle. The sukshamaha is subtle. So it depends on desha kala. It depends on the place at which you are doing this pranayama and the epoch and the time at which you are doing. Sankhya vihik. Sankhya means count. So the count for how long you are going to breathe, how long you are going to exhale and all that. So that's what he's saying there. Tataha, when you do like this, out of this practice, kshayate, prakasha avarnam. Kshayate means dissipation. Prakasha avarnam, the covering of the Atman, the inner light, is kshayate, is taken off.
Kumar, you left
wears
out for 51.
Okay. So bahya abhyantara vishaya akshepi chaturtha. So when you are actually going back to Sutra 50, when you are doing this pranayama based on where you are and all that, and you're taking care of the count, etc., and you're fully engrossed, the activations have all come to a stop, kind of thing. I mean, at least you're not paying attention to any of the activations. You're fully engrossed. That is why we are saying you're in the state of samapati. Out of that, what happens? Bahya abhyantara. Bahya abhyantara. Vishaya akshepi chaturtaha. So from this comes, when you are focusing on the focusing on the subject matter of inhalation and exhalation, akshepi means something beyond that happens, meaning there is a fourth state that comes. So inhalation is swasa, exhalation is prashwasa, and when you hold the breath in between, that is called kumbhaka. When you are totally engrossed and when all these activations have stopped and you are continuing with your pranayama on a regular basis, you will find that you are going to get into a fourth state. You are going to enjoy the fourth state, kevala kumbhaka, where the breath kind of has stopped because you are in the kumbhaka state, but it is called kevala kumbhaka because you are still alive. The body has the intelligence to keep you alive, but you have gone into a very deep meditative state. With me, people? So the kevala kumbhaka, it occurs. You cannot practice this. It has to occur on its own. After long practice of pranayama on a regular basis, when the body, first of all, with asanas, it has become stable and you're fully engrossed. When the body does not move, when you have lost basically we are saying we have lost consciousness with the body. This is what I've told you many times. Then this pranayama, the pranayama becomes very effective. And it may lead you to the state of kevala kumbhaka. So from the kevala kumbhaka state and other previous states, tata, from these states, out of that, kshiyate, kshiyate prakasha avarnam. Kshiyate prakasha avarnam means kshiyate is wearing off, falling off, wearing off, dissipation, burning away, whatever you want to call it. What is going away? The avaranam, the covering of your Atman, of the inner light. That cover, that dirt, which is that cloud, that is slowly going away. And in that going away, you are going to be in touch and you are getting qualified to slowly get connected to the divine. So dharana sucha yogyata manasaha. So, and the mind becomes, because of that, because of all that you have done, yogyata means becomes ready, or it becomes or clear. The manasaha, the mind becomes ready or clear for dharana. See, for people, for almost all of us, when we start and we say we want to do meditation, the moment you close your eyes, it's going all over. So how do you stop this? You cannot start on dharana on one fine day, meditation on one fine day. So you have to prepare yourself. How do you prepare yourself? Yama, niyama, asana, pranayama, and then you come to dharana. So yama has to be established, niyama has to be established, asana has to be, why the asana has to be established? Otherwise you will be constantly turning, twisting. There will be no focus. So the body has to stay stable. And then the breath part has to make sure that you can be in a deep meditative state, and it can go into Kevala Kumbhaka now, and then it can lead you to that. But once you are in that state, then you are ready for dharana. Then the dharana, then the meditation becomes purposeful. But I want to caution you here, it does not mean you should not start with meditation. What I'm saying here is, these steps will lead you to the right kind of dharana, the right kind of meditation. So when you start, we are going to do all these 4 or 5 things together. It is okay to do that. But please understand that the final, the right dharana will occur when all these things have fallen into place. That's how you have to understand this. Is it clear?
Yes, yes. Just one question, Kumarji. I completely understand the sequence that has been prescribed there in Yoga Sutras, but I'm just pondering on few people who never went through this. For example, Ramana Maharishi. So there is some exceptions for few individuals where they go to this dharana directly, right? That's the thought that came. I thought I'll ask to make sure it's not necessarily this is by and large for everyone to go through, and the sequencing of things to happen to get there.
See, you should always look at it from the statistical distribution point of view.
Right.
So there are 70 to 80% of the population will fall in this, or maybe 90% of the population will fall in this, and there will be freaks like Ramana Maharishi who won't fall into this.
Okay, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah. So that's true of anything in life, not just this. But the thing is, we should not take them as an example and then we are stuck.
Right. Yes.
Saying that, for Ramana Maharishi, the divine just showered him one shot. So if I sit at home and say, oh, Bhagavan, you give me everything. I will sit at home. I will not get up in the morning. I will not make any attempt to do any of the morning yamas and niyamas. I won't do any of these things. For everything, you have to make me do it. It's never going to happen. So that is the warning here. That's the caution here. Okay. So now that we are kind of ready for the practices have made you ready for dharana. We have gone through all this, so that now we are the mind kind of becomes ready for dharana. So we'll move on to the next sutra. The next two sutras are on pratyahara. We kind of somewhere earlier we just touched upon pratyahara. We said that it is getting in touch with the inner vibrations. So now he is going to give you a little more of understanding, a lot more understanding in these two sutras. Swavishaya asamprayoge chitta swarupa anukara iva indriyanam pratyahara. So what is pratyahara is what is defining here. Swavishaya. If you are thinking about yourself, not in an external way, but whatever is within you. Asamprayogo, samprayogo means outside, asamprayogo means inside. So if you are thinking about yourself internally you are looking at yourself. Chitta swarupa anukara indriyanam pratyahara. That is, what we are looking inwards here is because we are come to a certain stage here through all these various steps. We are now able to feel the vibrations, the inner vibrations, and the inner vibrations here. Pratyahara is able to connect to the vibrations within. So here what we are really seeing is Chitta Swarupa is start feeling the vibrations within. Chitta, it is as if, how do I put it? It is as if we know that Chitta is the program entity. We are the program, right? Chitta. So Swarupa is a form. Swarupa means form. So we are beginning to see the program entity as in a form. In what form? We are seeing it in the form of vibrations. Is it making sense? We are seeing it in the form of vibrations. Iva indriyanam, feeling the vibrations of sense organs inside us, and that is the state of pratyahara. That is what the sutra is saying. So the first sutra is about drawing inwards. That's why we are saying here, as a result of feeling all the internal swavishaya asamprayoge, by internalizing, that is by drawing inwards. This is what in most of discourses and debates and discussions on pratyahara, this is what you will hear. That is drawing of the senses inwards. But that is only one part. The second part really, or the, I don't want to call it the more important part. The second part is being able to feel the vibrations of this of the body. I mean, basically here we are talking about the vibrations of the sense organs. So the second sutra, tataha, from that, tataha parama vishaya parama is that supreme, that extreme, that supreme, that peak. Tataha parama Vashyat Indriyanam. Vashyat. Vashya. In Tamil we say Vasyam. Vasyam. Vashyat means, how do you say this? I don't want to say it as control, where you have supreme, we'll use the word control, where you have supreme control of the indriyas, of all the sense organs. So what he's saying is, once you are able to sense the vibrations inside, then you have the supreme control of all the sense organs. This is where Dr. Rajan will say, you can make one palm hot, and one hand or one palm hot, and the other palm cold, and interchange. All these different types of controls, you can do it on your own. When you have that control. So this also, what it does is, it also leads you to the next level, that what we'll see in the next chapter, the Dharana Dhyana Samadhi, where the sensing of the vibrations, and with that being able to get into deeper state of meditation, will bring you certain siddhis, certain special abilities on your way to attaining samadhi. So question for Priya, what is samadhi, Priya? Hello, are you there, Priya? Can't hear you. What is samadhi? We are certainly not talking about the tome, correct? That is also called samadhi in Tamil. I don't know in other languages, where the dead body is buried or cremated or whatever, and they build a small structure on top of that. We say that as samadhi. We very loosely we use this word samadhi, but that's not samadhi. In Yoga Sutra, what is the meaning of samadhi? Okay. Who wants to answer?
It is a state when you're completely absorbed and have cosmic connectivity. That's
Yes.
how I
What is
understand.
that cosmic connectivity? What does it bring you?
Total engrossment.
No, total engrossment will lead you to samadhi. What will the connectivity to the divine will bring you? What will it bring you?
Kaivalya? Is that Kaivalya?
Kaivalyam.
Ultimately,
You're saying Kaivalyam?
yeah, ultimately.
Ultimately, yes, but we have gone through this many times. Samadhi means, I said,
You have an inquiry, you get answered.
Yes. So samadhi means connectivity to the divine, and what else? That intuitive awareness has to occur. What is that intuitive awareness? You place a question and then you let go, the answer comes back to you. Only then we say samadhi. And we have also defined two types of samadhis, sabhija samadhi and nirbija samadhi, correct? People, wake up.
Yep.
It's not like, we study one chapter and we forget. This is a continuous process. You cannot keep forgetting concepts of the previous chapters. Samadhi means this, connectivity to the divine and being connected to the complete intelligence of the cosmos, which means you are going to intuitively, you are going to be getting all this prajna. The prajna, that's what it is, that intuitive awareness. You place a question, the answer will come back to you. Right? Isn't this how we define samadhi?
Yes.
Yes.
Is it clear, Priya? If it is not clear, you must stop me and ask me. Priya, you are not speaking. I cannot hear you. Probably you are on mute. Is this clear?
He's saying something, but somehow we cannot hear.
Oh, okay. I think maybe a bad connection.
Well, is that the Ritambara, the pragya, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Exactly. That is the sutra. So this is what pratyahara is all about. So I don't want to start on chapter 3 today, but I will give a kind of a short summary of chapter 3. But before we move to that, any questions so that we can answer all these questions and then move on to chapter 3. Next week, Dr. Rajan will be here with us. As like last time, he'll be here at 6 a.m. in the morning and he will start the session. So you can ask him whatever we have covered so far. It doesn't matter, chapter 1 or chapter 2. You can ask him all the questions you want to ask, not just chapter 1 or chapter 2. Even if you have read chapter 3 and chapter 4 and you have some questions, you can certainly ask. But I would probably hold it until all the questions on chapter 1 and chapter 2 are asked and answered, just so that we show that compassion and kindness to others. Okay? Come on, people, show some excitement.
Yes, that's really great. Yes, looking forward to it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Please write down whatever questions you want to ask. You don't have to send it to me. Just make a mental note or make a note in your notebook or make a soft copy, whichever way, but come prepared, please. So to engage him purposefully. Okay. So any questions on chapter 2 that that you might have that I can make an attempt to answer? And whatever you don't understand or whatever is not very clear, certainly next week, if there is an opportunity, you can hear it from the master.
So just the supreme control, I'm just questioning or not, just pondering on that. It's a great siddhi in my mind, right? For organs, sense organs, if we have that. That's what it leads to, right? At the end, you saw, we were reading about that. What is the byproduct or end result after once you sense the vibrations, gets the control over sense organs, which,
Yeah.
I mean, most of the time, that's where everyone battles, or at least I battle it, right?
I mean, as a human being, yes, that is the battle, yes. And somewhere he's maybe in this chapter, in chapter 3, he may not be directly connected to pratyahara. He will use the word victorious. Jaya, he will say that you have become victorious. So that's what it is. You win the battle. And actually, yeah, somebody said something. Actually, if you see this Gita Upadesha picture with Arjuna, the chariot, and all the 5 horses. So that's how it is defined, right? The 5 horses represent the 5 senses, the Indriyas.
Right. Yep.
So each sense organ is like a horse. When it is not properly reined, when it is not reined in, it's like the 5 horses going in 5 different directions, and you are in the chariot. And what happens if the 5 horses go in 5 different directions? You are finished, right? So it's the same thing.
Yep. Yep.
So many many Bhagavad Gita many discourses on Bhagavad Gita, many specialists, many pundits, they will bring in this understanding that the 5 horses represent the 5 senses. So somewhere he will say Indriya Jayate. So the conquering of the Indriyas. Any other question?
Is Pratipaksha Bhavana and Yama similar?
Similar, what I would say is Pratipaksha Bhavanam is arising out of the yamas. Yes, it arises from the yamas, because in Pratipaksha Bhavanam you are saying, oh, this is going to cause this kind of feeling of making of taking advantage of somebody is coming from greed, anger, and all that, right?
Right.
So, and I know this will finally lead to dukkha and avidya. And so I don't want to do this. Why? When will you have this Pratipaksha Bhavanam? Only when you have those values, only when you have the underlying yamas in place, only then you will get to this Pratipaksha Bhavanam on a consistent basis. Otherwise, once in a while, all of us will do that. You know, you go to a restaurant, you have a nice meal. I always do this. At the end of the meal, the bill is, so you go with the family. You know? You go with the family, 4 or 5 people, you go, we eat. So finally the bill in the Indian restaurant is, say, $120. You have eaten well, you like the food, you eat it well. And then you find that they have missed out 2 of the items that they have not that you ate, but they have missed out. So either you can quietly walk away because it is their mistake, it is not your mistake, or the Pratipaksha Bhavanam can kick in and say, hey, I did eat all, I ordered and they served me, I enjoyed it, and how can I walk away even if they make a mistake? My values, my yamas, I cannot be at peace if I walk away like this. So the Pratipaksha Bhavanam comes in there, and you call the waiter and tell him, hey, there are 2 items that are missing. Can you please add it to the check? You must have had this experience, right? But on the other hand, if by mistake they have added 2 extra items, we will catch their neck. Right?
Right.
I don't know if I answered your question correctly. I mean, if you are satisfied with the answer, Uma. Because
Yes,
last week
Guruji.
also you asked this question on Pratipaksha Bhavanam.
No, I was just thinking, and I thought Yama was also like being true to your conscious in this, doing what is
Yes,
true.
Yama is not
Yes.
just yeah. Yama in in a generic way, yes. And then we broke down Yama into 5 parts, right?
Oh,
We broke down Yama into 5 parts. All that ahimsa, asteya, all that.
oh yeah.
Satya, Asteya,
Brahmacharya.
Oh, correct. Yeah,
Brahmacharya.
Brahmacharya.
Yes. So those 5 pieces of Yama. There are 5 pieces to that Yama.
Okay.
So the maybe in this case, the example that I took, the Satya, you are being truthful. The truth is you ate and they didn't add it.
Right.
And maybe, you know, they are all interconnected. Even Asteya, you don't want to, by not paying, you're actually stealing, right?
Correct.
Indirectly. So that too. And aparigraha is accumulating. So is it making sense?
Yeah. Aparigraha. Can
Apari-
you give an example for that? What are we accumulating here? Like, what should
accumulating wealth. No, not in this example.
we?
Not in this waiter, not in the food example. No. Aparigraha is accumulating wealth, jewelry, whatever. I mean, wealth means includes everything.
So it is like accumulating wealth in the right way, like doing it.
Right way is fine, but aparigraha is wanting to
More than-
accumulate
Oh.
more and more at the cost of others and all that.
More than what is required.
Yes. Yes. See, this is a very difficult definition, Shobhu, because when you say more than what is required, who will define that what is required? That is what is
Requirement.
concerned.
What is the bar for contentment?
So what is required? Only you will know that very clearly only when you start evolving as a human being. Otherwise, even if you have $1 million in the bank, that won't be
Yes.
enough. Yes. So this is the question some of these people have asked me when I retired, like so maybe Sundar or Prabhakar or Vishwa or Gandhi, whoever, maybe they might have asked me this question. How do you know that you have enough? How do you know that you have enough?
And that was going to be my question, like when when do you stop accumulate? I mean, when do you
So I told them, this is what I told them at the age of maybe 55, around that time. I had this feeling that I should retire at the age of 62. And it became stronger and stronger with every passing months or years. And then at the age of 62, when I was about to turn 62 that year, 2015, January, I said, okay, I'm going to turn 62 this March. Well, I really want to retire. but I will work until the end of this year and retire. It seemed logical, right? I'll work until the end of this year, December 31st, or a few days after that. Yeah. This is what I said. I will retire in the third week of January, because the third week of January, we are given bonus for the previous year. It can be 2%, it can be 3%, it can be 6%, it can be 8%. Nobody knew. On an average, it will be somewhere between 3 to 5%. So I said, okay, I'll take the bonus the following year and I'll retire. So that was my thinking, and I just let it go. But end of February, the company said, your services are no more needed. But thank you very much. We are not sending you out because of performance reasons or anything like that. Your position is being eliminated. I mean, it's a nice way of saying we don't want you, right? Instead of saying you are eliminated, they'll say the position is eliminated. What difference does it make? Same thing. It's like, in India, once I think I was probably 23, 24. I had just passed my engineering, and I wrote a couple of these exams, entrance tests or what, not entrance tests. These are to companies like Bharat Heavy Electricals, Bharat Electronics Limited, and a few others. They used to have this general test, 2-hour test or 3-hour test with all different kind of aptitude tests they will do. So then I received a letter saying that, oh, dear Mr. Subramanian, dear Mr. Kumar, we are so happy to have you taken our test, and we are very happy that you completed that, blah blah blah. At this point, we are only trying to. We are sad that we are unable to accommodate you in the training program. But yeah, I'm sure we will be able to do this in the future, blah, blah, blah. So I read this. I didn't even understand that this was a regret letter from them. So this is a way of, this is the kind of way in which, you make it, you make the your bad news feel good or better. Anyway, coming back to my retirement, and they gave me this letter around 9:30 in the morning, and my managers looked at me and he said, for the company's policy, he did not know how to even say that, because I worked in the company for almost 25 years. So the company's policy is that you leave in 1 hour's time. And then I looked at him and he said, you really mean that? Then he said, Kumar, that I had to say, I'm sorry I had to say that, because the company's policy, but take your time, whatever time you want, you take. Anyway, but instead of leaving at 10:30, I left at 1 or 1:30 around lunch, just at lunchtime. And I was laughing, I was beaming, I was so happy. And it was like when I left, there was like a guard of honor. All my, many of my friends stood on both sides and waved goodbye to me. And many of them came and asked me, Kumar, how come you're laughing and smiling and you're so happy? There are about 12, 13 people who were terminated. And most of them were in tears, they were angry, but you are laughing, you're smiling, you seem to be so happy. What happened? So I also plan to work until the following year. You just have to take the cosmic flow. You have to just accept it. So at that time, somebody asked me, I mean, do you plan to work or blah, blah, blah. I said, no. At the age of 55, I got this message that I want to retire at 62, and I'm almost 62. So actually, my last day with the 2 weeks notice that the company gave me was on my birthday. I mean, I really turned 62 on the last day, on the last legal day of service. So who could give this message other than the unmanifest divine? So when the unmanifest divine says, Kumar, enough, you leave and leave with grace. And will you still keep saying, I want more money? Man, you could, and bring on pain and suffering to yourself. So anyway, on that note, we are almost time. I mean, couple of minutes, and then we'll close. Did you understand, Uma?
Yes, Kumarji. How about brahmacharya? You were saying that it's not just celibacy alone. That's the only thing that's stuck in my mind. What else comes?
The charya means to travel. Chara, it comes from chara. Chara means move, travel. Brahma means all of existence. So you want to know about existence, but so chara here means not really traveling. It could also mean that, but more in taking the journey to find out about existence. Where is the question of celibacy here?
We they used to say brahmacharya, like being celibate, whatever that is.
That's
Like,
what I'm trying to break. That is what I'm trying to break.
Right.
It does not
Okay.
mean celibacy. It means this.
Okay.
Going on a journey to find out about existence. Celibacy may occur as part of this on its own.
Okay.
This may lead to celibacy. Because when you are so focused, when you are so engrossed, when you have samapati bhyam in brahmacharya, when you are engrossed in finding out the various nuances about existence, then the mind will not care about, we will want to be celibate. It will just take you, it will just go there on its own. The
Yeah,
mind will not.
I had that sense of meaning because everybody says brahmachari means.
Yeah,
a
I also
person
for a number of years only thought like that.
Okay.
Yes,
So it's
for a
not
number of
that.
years.
It's totally not that.
It's totally, definitely not that. Brahmachari, brahmacharini means one who is on the journey of finding about existence, answers to questions on existence. That's all. Seeking answers to questions on existence. What are those questions? Who am I? What am I doing here? Why am I here? From where did I come? Where will I go? Those kinds of questions, right?
Right.
So I retired in 2015. So do I have money to, do I have enough money for the rest of my life? Maybe I do. Maybe I don't. I don't know. I'll take it as it comes. As of today, the divine is feeding me. Good enough. Okay.
Okay, Kumarji.
Any other questions before we really shut down? Next week, I will speak to all of you. We'll have the class from Tampa. I'll be in Tampa next week. Oh, I don't know how many of you
Yeah.
know. I'm still in Philadelphia.
We have the tutorial class also.
Unfortunately, Tuesday I'll be traveling at that time. So only yesterday I realized I will send out a note to all of you. No class. Unfortunately, I forgot about that when I booked my tickets. So I'm traveling so Tuesday evening,
Oh,
late evening. So we cannot have the tutorial on Tuesday. If everyone is free, we could have it on maybe Friday.
Friday, what?
Or Wednesday. So think about it and then let me know. Okay, on that note, I'll take leave of you. See you next week
Thank you.
with Dr. Rajan. Namaste.
Thank you.
namaste. Thank you, Kumar.
Namaste. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.